the self-talk, this conversation that we seem to have with each other, regardless of who you are, we all have this. Some of us say it out loud, some of us it's internal, but it's self-talk. And what I've noticed over the years, just with me first, is this is a direct reflection of where I'm at, this talk that I'm having. For me, it progressed into now, in some cases, recording it and just having the self-talk out loud, like I'm actually talking to myself. In the past, I've heard myself, that was stupid. Little things like that. Well, why is this happening to me? Why? This is what creates the problem, I think, in our lives. Family, friends, work, with colleagues. You create the life that you want and that you have from the inside out. And this is a reflection of everything that you do and the people that you talk to. People are either being attracted to you or slowly being pushed away by you based on the self-talk that you have. This is why I start with Sphere. I think is the biggest opportunity that we have all across the board, because not all of us have a large amount of past clients. And so with Sphere, I think the one thing you have to do is categorize them correctly on the back end of your CRM. If you don't have a CRM, I would suggest that you get one.
I think texting the newsletters is huge. I feel like we're always so thinking that we need to email them. And the texting portion of it, you can see if they read it right away, most likely. You can also deliver it to people that are in your core sphere, the ones that you're most focused on, give them a new real estate market update. Check in with how your business is doing. So I think the possibilities are kind of endless there, but these are really cheap and efficient ways to do this.
Yeah, I think that on the texting, you can go in so many different ways with this. But remember, I'm only showing you the possibilities. Tristan and I are only showing you possibilities. We don't want to take you to a world where you're spending so much money that you're spending more than you're making. Nikola Tesla says something about energy. He says, if you wish to understand the universe, think of energy, frequency, and vibration. And I would apply that to relationships as well. This is where it starts. Energy matters. You can either be that person that as soon as they walk into the room, you're attracted to them. I want to be that person, don't you? In your mailings, in your events, in your social media, in as much as you can. That's all we've got. We've only got what we're producing for other people. And a lot of that energy for me comes from delivering value. And I learned that at a young age. So I'm asking you now, guard your energy. Do things that energize you. This is why I have a whole morning routine, and we went a little bit over it on Monday. But the evening routine as well. What are you doing on a consistent basis to increase that energy? To align yourself with people that give you back that energy, because it matters. You have to think psychologically, like, how am I impacting people when it comes to this business? Because the nuances matter so much. I'm telling you, because I've seen the difference. Somebody getting something that has e-ink versus something that's handwritten is telling a different story. If something is handwritten, it feels like I took the time. This is what's happening subliminally. I took the time to write this down, whatever message this is, and that's more valuable to somebody reading it. Tristan took the time to write me this? Damn. Versus, oh, e-ink, you just typed it, sent it over to me. Maybe sent me some brownies. That's cool too. But this, handwritten, man, that means more. And so that's what we've been doing over the years.
This is a good place to start if you're an agent from 0 to 25 transactions a year, because there are things that
we missed it by a minute. 1 minute. Let me switch over, turn on the chat. We're good with the chat. All right, everyone who's jumping in, tell me what city, what state you're in. There you go, Sarah. Oh, how are you, Sarah? A familiar name really quick. We'll probably give it about 2 minutes before we start, so we have everyone here. In the meantime, let me know where you're at, where you're located. Let's see who I know. Don Ducks. Okay, Don, where is Duxbury? I've never heard of Duxbury. Mira, San Francisco. Nice. Mike, Franklin, Tennessee. Carlos, good morning. Carl, Las Cruces, New Mexico. The Crosses. Nice. Francis, Arlington. And let me see if they told me. Did you guys tell me where? Is it Duxbury? Is that where it was? I want to know where that is. Ah, Massachusetts. There it is. Thanks, Beth. Appreciate it. Richard, you're not too far. Nice to see your name. Appreciate you. There you go. All right. Let's see who else we've got on here. Good morning. Good morning. Gail, what's up, Gail? I see you. Becky, Silicon Valley. Nice to see you too. All right, let's go Toronto, Canada. Anybody else from Canada? Where are my Canada real estate agents or people? We always have a few. Ottawa, nice. Evie, buenos dias. Buenos dias. Evie, buenos dias. This morning I got interviewed by Univision about the whole NAR settlement in Spanish, and that was not, I mean, it was good, but man, my Spanish is not that great. So that was very fun. All right, everyone, let's get started. First off, thank you for jumping in. This is recorded. So if you miss any part of this, you can definitely go back. We're going to send this out on Wednesday with everything that I show you on here. You're going to see a lot of PDFs, some Google Docs, all of that will be available to you. And you don't have to sign up for coaching to be able to see that. But we are having a promotion, and I will bring it up during this whole session. This whole session is all about you. It's all about transitioning you, helping you grow. And there's a lot of unclarity for some of you in the current atmosphere that we have with the settlement. But just you'll see nothing to worry about. A lot of you are already aligned with what you need to do to continue to grow your business. You just need to go deeper. By the end of tomorrow, so there's a 2-day virtual event, you're going to gain clarity as to exactly what you need to do, exactly where you need to go, step by step. We're going to help you break it down. I want to bring so much clarity to your business that you stop worrying about what you need to do next. Let us guide you through this process. We've done it before. I've been through a lot of ups and downs. I'm still in real estate. We know exactly what we're doing, and I want to share that with you and best practices. So with that, I want to remind you that sometimes, and this is me being just transparent with you, sometimes we all feel like maybe we're just not enough. Maybe this isn't for us. Maybe we're doing a lot of things wrong. And I want to share with you that although you are going to feel that, there are some really hard days. There are some days where you're like, I don't know if this is for me. And I would be lying to you if I said, I always thought this was amazing and I would never fail. No, I've thought plenty of times, maybe real estate just isn't for me. And I've been in this for 20 years. And so I know I've been there. And I want to tell you that it is for you. You just need to change and pivot a few things. And you need to focus because you're getting so distracted from so many things that are being thrown at you from this side. If it's not tech, it's a settlement. If it's not a settlement, it's a sickness, COVID. If it's not that, it's always something else. So your greatest ability, your greatest thing that you can work on, and the greatest thing that you have is your ability to adapt, your ability to change. And I don't know about you, but I tend to agree with what Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger said about real estate agents, that we're scrappy. We figure things out quickly. We're not on the sidelines wondering, what are we going to do? Are we going to survive? We figured things out because we're contingency based. We're commission based. We have to hunt for what we want daily. But I want to change something along those lines. I want to tell you that you are enough. All of you listening in, you have what it takes to thrive. This is why I named this event Throttle and Thrive. Put the foot down. Let's go. You're going to thrive through whatever is coming at you. But it's up to you. You need to decide what route you're going to go. It needs to be so clear that everything else that usually distracts you falls off to the side. Because this new you, this new world, whatever happens, requires immense focus. And you don't get there without having immense clarity. And with that, you have to get clear about what value means. I hear the word thrown out sometimes and saying, hey, you need to provide more value. It kind of goes along the lines of you need to 10x, you need to 3x, you need to, and that to me is very vague. Like, I don't know what that means. And so with value, I want to be able to remind you that value, the value that you're offering your clients revolves around their dreams and hopes. And when you have that at the front of what value means, you're connected to the people you're trying to serve, because that's what we're trying to do. This is a relationship-based business. And when we look at it long-term, like a career, not just a one-off, not just a hobby, you realize that you're changing lives along the way. And that becomes an amazing thing. And so when you look at value, I've broken it down for you into 3 things. That's number 1, and this may sound a little weird to you, but number 1 revolves around this idea, the idea of how you make people feel, because it's perceived value. Like every conversation, and this is what we're going to go through today and tomorrow, every conversation, whether you pick up the phone, text, email, social media, newsletter, mailer, open house, one-on-one, events, anything that you do, at the core of it, you've got to be thinking, how am I making people feel? And when you start with that, you send out less spam. People feel like you actually care about them because you do, and you have less commission breath. And a lot of the times, the authentic piece is missing from our conversations because we rely too much on scripts. We rely too much on people telling us, hey, copy this and just use it. Rip off and duplicate. It's not the world that we live in. The world that we live in revolves around people connecting with people where they feel like the other person cares about them. That's how you build a career out of this. In fact, you're dopamine dealers. That's the weird part. Whether you're on social, whether you're mailing things, whether you're in person listening to somebody over coffee, you're dopamine dealers. Every day, I want to deal that dopamine. I want to make you feel amazing. That's my job. Because if I instill confidence in you, I empower you. Now you have a perception of me of, wow, every time I hang out with Tristan, I feel good. The key to this is putting the people that you're serving first. And I know most of you are so good at this. But what gets in the way is everything else that's telling you to do it this old way, the spammy way. And over the next 2 days, we're going to just destroy that crap because you need to show up. You, the people People love you. Stop putting all this stuff in between you and the consumer, you and your friends, your past clients, your sphere, your dopamine dealers. Remember that. Number two, you're going to decide what you're going to become an expert in. And most of you already are experts. You're already great at something. Think of why people reach out to you. They reach out to you for some amazing reason. For me, I can tell you there's two things that come to mind. One is a little outside of real estate, more on the executive business level. They reach out to me to build communities. That's number one. Now, on the real estate side, they see my videos where I talk about finances, where I talk about where the market is going, and they want me to break down that. And that is perceived value because I put that out there. What about you? I want you to start thinking about this, even though we're going to go super deep on becoming an expert. I want you to think, what are you an expert on? In fact, write it down. I want to see. Right here, write it down. Tell me, what are you an expert in when it comes to real estate? What is it? What do you feel that you're better at than most people? Connecting with people. Becky, you really are. You're really good at connecting with people. When I talk to you, I can feel that you care. What else? Relationships. Jennifer, relationships are so key to this. It's beautiful. Amado, Tristan, you always make one feel confident and empowered. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that, man. That is one of my strengths. Solving problems, Jenna. I love that. In fact, I would go in a little deeper. What specific problems? Real estate problems, buying, selling, what, right? We're going to get so specific on that. It's going to be so clear. You're going to be like, got it. I understand the value that I offer, because other people have to be able to see that. And they have to instantly say, oh, you know what? Got it. Jenna's really good at this. That's why I'm reaching out to her. In fact, that's why she's earning her commission, because what's on the billboards everywhere, media everywhere else, agents are getting overpaid. And why is that the narrative? Why is that the narrative? Because for so long, the majority of agents have been battling it out on a commission. Mission this, commission that, less, less, less. And you all know where that leads you. To the bottom. Versus playing it out in a world where people understand exactly what quality you have, what values you offer, because you're an expert in something and they value that, right? I'm seeing a lot of great answers, Rachel. Real estate investing and negotiating. I love that. Who doesn't need that? Everyone. Joanna, what's up, Joanna? Sharing creative options to meet my clients' goals. And let me tell you, you're going to have to get creative here. I love that. Informing people. I take that further. In fact, everyone who wrote anything here, I want you to take that further and deeper, because that's what we're going to be doing over the next 2 days. People need to have so much clarity that they know what you do. In fact, let's practice one here with you. I'm going to need some feedback before I get to the number 3 one. Number 2 was become an expert. I'm going to ask you a question. Whether you like this company or not, I tried this last week live, and I think we had about 200 people at an event that I went to, and it was fun. So here we go. Think of, and whether you like them or not, James, I already know you don't like Apple, okay? Apple, not the Apple company, but Apple, the tech company, the computer company. Think of Apple. I want you to write down really quick, whether you like them or not, what you think of when you think of Apple. All right, Becky, sexy, sleek, very good. What else? When you think of the company Apple, I thought the very first, for me, it was innovative. They might not be as innovative as they were before, but I mean, that cool thing that you put on your head, it might be heavy, but it is pretty innovative. I love it. So I'm hearing a lot of great answers. Intuitive, easy, expensive. Noreen, yes, very expensive. Conspiracy, I love that. Cutting edge, sharp, love, yes, excellent. Okay, now, that was part 1. If Apple was going to create a hotel, what would that hotel look like? Tell me. What would it look like? What would it have? What are some cool features it would have? High end, yeah, expensive for sure, right? Super over the top tech, design forward, modern glass. Becky, it would definitely have glass, right? As you walk in, it would have an Apple logo and it would open up your glass for sure. Minimalist, elegant. I like this. Yvonne, sleek tech, high end. Yes, yes, you got it. Everyone gets it. Okay. Now, think of this. If Hyatt, the hotel company, was going to build a computer, what would it look like? If Hyatt was going to build a computer. Meh, Becky. Becky, boring. Who knows? Who knows? That's what I thought. I was like, wait a second. I don't know that I have the answer for that one. I don't know. Big and clunky, surprise. Patterned carpet. James, that's hilarious, man. Yeah, I could envision that. Terrible. It's on the brand. And here's the thing, because we're going for value, right? Let's go back to value. Hyatt has a logo. Apple has a brand. The difference is when people look at you and your brand, can they identify what it stands for quickly? And I'm going to challenge you and say that not a lot of us have a brand. And that's key. So start thinking deeper as we go through this. What do we stand for, right? Anyway, become an expert in something. And it doesn't have to be everything. The moment you start expanding to everything is when you serve no one. It's okay to serve a small group of people. Cassandra, thank you. Number 3, in value. You've got to build permission. We live in a permission-based world. When people love and connect with you, they love your brand and they connect with you, they're giving you permission to go further. Means, yeah, you know what? Sign me up for that newsletter. Oh, it was great meeting you at the open house. Text me. Send me some properties. Oh, I loved your website so much. Thank you for calling me. Yeah, continue to communicate with me. People give you permission, but we don't do enough with it. And I'll give you the best example. You just closed a transaction. And according to NAR stats, close to 90% of real estate agents don't ever contact that client again. And they gave you permission because that's the biggest permission in all of all. They closed on a transaction with you. And so we have to give our clients, our database, the people we meet, we have to give them opportunities to give us the permission. We've got to earn it. Because if we don't earn it and they don't give us permission, that's called spamming. And we do that a lot. I know. I mean, how many of you, and look, you all know what real estate brokerage I'm with, but how many of you have tried to get recruited by whoever, by text, by messenger, by email, and it sounds so crappy. It's pretty bad. I didn't ask for somebody to reach out to me. How does a consumer feel when they haven't given you permission to connect with them deeper? And we'll go through that as well. Tammy, crappy is an understatement. Look, it is. It is. This is why everything that we do, even in coaching, right? We have a Brilliant Tribe coaching, and I'll show you that in a little bit. But even in coaching, real estate, all the businesses that I have, we go for attraction-based marketing. And I want you to do the same. And this is why I want you to focus on these things, because they're so important to the world that we're heading into. In fact, they're important to the world that we live now. It's changed. Marketing looks different. Attracting people looks different. It's a different culture. But you know what hasn't changed? Here's what hasn't changed, and it's never going to change. I don't care if we're 100, 200, 300 years from now. People want to have relationships. They want to belong to a community. And this, at the core of it, is a relationship-based business. You want to build a career out of this? You want to succeed at a higher level? You've got to build and take care of those relationships. And that's what I'm going to show you. Yes, we're going to get into social media. Yes, we're going to get into online leads. Yes, we're going to get into everything you can imagine. But I want you to gain clarity through all of this. So as we get into this, I want to start really with one thing, and that's this up here. For me, it wasn't really clear how important my mindset was to this business until something happened in 2000, I believe it was 2015. And it goes back to 2005. It took me 10 years, okay? 10 years. Here it is. I'll tell you the story. So I was at an open house, and it was a luxury listing, not mine. It was somebody else. I was sitting with them, and I had printed out black and white flyers. I wish I had a simple flyer. It's a crappy black and white flyer of the open house I was sitting. And it had all the information. And I decided, hey, I'm going to go door knock this luxury area. It's in Westlake Village, California. And I start door knocking, and not a lot of people are home. So I start dropping them off, these black and white flyers. So as I'm dropping them off, I'm like, okay, good, I'm done. Come back. The open house was great. 2 days later, I get a call back from this black and white flyer. And I'm like, okay, remember, this is my second year in the business. And I'm handing out these little black and white flyers because I didn't have enough money to do the color copies. So black and white is what they got. Got a call back, simple flyer. And they said, hey, we're interviewing agents to list our home. And we got your flyer. Would you be able to come over and explain to us what you've got? And I said, sure. What day is good? So they told me the day, got it all signed up for that day. Talked to my broker. I'm like, hey, I've got this opportunity. And the very first thing I did was the thing all real estate agents do. I looked up the address and I calculated the commission. It's my second year in the business. What do you want me to do? I calculated the commission, and I'm like, holy cow, this is amazing. It's my first luxury possible listing. And I suit up, put my tie on. I got I remember purple tie, grayish suit. And at the time, that was my best suit and tie. I show up, and they greet me at the door. I go in, and I see the flyer. And the black and white flyer is folded up, and it's got water stains, like if the sprinklers got them. And I'm like, interesting. Sit down, I talk to them, I do the presentation that I worked on with my broker, and then it comes to the end, and they say, Tristan, thank you, but why are we going to pay you $125,000 to sell our home? And I didn't practice this with my broker. That part I didn't practice that. And I simply said, because that's the commission. And I didn't get that listing. And I wish that at the time that I had only because I went through 10 years of thinking, man, poor kid like me, it's just like this luxury thing just isn't for me. I'm just going to stick to first-time home buyers. I'm going to stick to the people that I know, just this little area over here. And we did well, right? In fact, I went all in on online leads, but it was always a lesser price point, not luxury. For 10 years, I told myself a story. I limited my beliefs. And I said, luxury is just not for you. You're not made for luxury. And I know some of you out there are telling yourselves a story along the same lines. You're not good enough for this. Man, I don't know if you're going to make it. You know, why are they succeeding and I'm not? Maybe it's just not. And you're second guessing it. And let me tell you, it's normal. And I got lucky because as I got into more online leads, one of them happened to be a really big lead that we thought was fake, like a lot of leads. And this one ended up being real. And they ended up purchasing a ranch out here called the Hummingbird Ranch. And they purchased it for $33 million. And I thought, maybe luxury is for me. And I just had this whole story that I had told myself. What story are you stuck with in your head that you're telling yourself over and over and over? That just isn't true. Because that self-talk inside is sabotaging you. And you need to address that first. You at least need to be aware of it. Because that self-talk is what everything else follows. Is think of what lives in your head all the time. It's like, oh, you're not good enough. Oh, Tristan, that was stupid. Why'd you do that? Man, this always happens to me. That's what continually lives in your head. I can tell you because that's what lived in my head. And sometimes I catch myself. I'm like, oh, wait a second. In fact, you know who catches me? My kids. My kids sometimes catch me because I always do it to them. I'm like, hey, you know what is that? Is that your new truth? Hey, is that your new affirmation when they say something crappy? And then when I say something crappy, they're like, hey, Daddy, is that your new affirmation? I'm like, oh yeah. It's good having kids, right? They really point out your shortfall. So for me, I think what happens if I think this, if I think these truths about myself, I also start speaking them. And you know what happens when you start speaking them? Other people notice. You don't bring the right energy to the table. And people feel energy. Try doing a presentation for a listing with the lowest amount of energy possible. It just won't work most of the time. People need to know that you've got this. They're hiring us because we instill confidence in this process and what we do and being an expert in this or this. This is the value that we bring, and we're going to execute it. And the challenge starts here. Because then that also leads to what I see some of you then live on, and that's a fixed mindset, not knowing that things are possible past what you have seen. And a fixed mindset sounds like this, and you're all familiar with this because I've done this too. This is nothing new, but a fixed mindset says, how'd they get that listing? How did they close that transaction? Them? It doesn't make sense. They must be doing something. They must be doing something illegal, or they must be doing something else. A fixed mindset closes doors because you know what? They must have been doing something that's just not possible for you. It's nobody. And here's the other piece to a fixed mindset. This is the hard one, but it's everybody else's fault. It's not yours. Your fault, no way. You always look for the problems and you have no solutions for them. Whereas on a growth mindset, like Carol Dweck says, as growth mindset, you look for opportunities. And instead of feeling like you're a victim in something that didn't happen to you, you reach out to that real estate agent and say, congratulations, that was an amazing closing. In fact, I've always wanted a closing like that. How did you get that? Because I'd love to work up to that. The world opens up in a growth mindset because the world is telling you you have more potential. You're not doing enough. You're not doing it the right way. You are enough. You just think that you're not enough. And some of us are stuck there. Some of us are not moving past there. And so I want you to start reflecting. Write down, what are you having a challenge with right now? Reflect back and say, where are my opportunities? Because what I've noticed is that when you start hanging around other people that are doing things differently than you, that are achieving things that you're like, well, you know what? I would love to achieve that as well. When you hang around a lot more people like that, they begin to break down your barriers that you have, your mental blocks. That's not for me. Well, wait a second. How do you do that? And they start pulling you up. You've all heard that you're what is that? You're an average of the 5 people you hang around with. You've heard that. I think it was Jim Rohn who said that. There's a lot of truth to that. In fact, Dale Carnegie said the same thing. But now we have an opportunity to not just hang out with those people, choose to listen to the right podcasts and empower you. So I'm glad you're here today because I'm going to tell you and I'm going to continually drill in you that you are enough. You just need to level up. It's going to take some hard work because where you want to go takes work that you possibly haven't done consistently over a longer period of time. And if you want to grow bigger, if you want to grow in many ways, not just financially, mentally, physically, internally, because that's what drives us. It takes work and it takes showing up when you don't want to show up. There are days I'm like, man, I don't know if I can show up today. And so I find solutions for it. We're human. We share the same things. We get sad, same feelings, right? We get happy. We get angry some days. We all have to deal with this. We're no different. And we all have different challenges in different parts of our life. We share that. And so what I'd like you to focus on are 3 things when it comes to you, when it comes to your life. Number 1 is I want you to focus on yourself. What are you feeding yourself daily, mentally? That's 1, right? Emotions, how are they doing? Are you keeping them in check? Are you reflecting back and saying, hey, what could I have done better? Who could I have treated better? Maybe it's me that I had to treat better. Physically, health-wise, is that a priority? And then spiritually, whatever that looks like for you. That's you. Next is family. And family looks different for everybody. But I know that when something is affecting my family, it affects me. It brings me down some days. So I've got to make sure that I at least do my part there. What does family look like for you? Is it spouse, siblings, friends, cats, dogs, parents, grandparents? What does family look like? And how can you prioritize that? And then lastly is business. Yes, lastly, because how you are doing at the very top, how you are doing determines how you see the world. And some of you aren't seeing the massive opportunity that you have right now. Because what I've noticed over the years is that opportunity happens when everyone else is confused, things are unclear, it looks like shit just hit the fan. That is when you find the biggest opportunity. And I'll give you one example and then we'll shift. But I thought, hey, you know what? What do my clients need right now? Because most of them are watching the news about the settlement. And so what we decided to do is pick up the phone and reach out to our core past clients in our core sphere and make 2 or 3 calls a day. And this is what it sounds like. And it's been so amazing. I did this one on a live session for prospecting last week, just to show people the success we've had. And I didn't know what the response was going to be from this client because I'd been doing it. I'm like, it's got to be good. And it was. Here's what happened. I'm texting my pet. You need to do this. Write this down. Texting past clients, core sphere. Simple text. I'll use my client's name. He already let me. His name is Farong, 15-year client, amazing client. And I said, hey, Farong, do you have 5 minutes? I have a real estate question for you, and I need advice for a change. He laughed, and you can tweak that however you want. He laughed, and then he said, yeah, call me. Picked up the phone, called him. I said, hey, Farong, it's Tristan. And he was already laughing on the phone. And I said, hey, man, I have a real estate question for you. Crazy, right? He's like, yeah, what is it? I'm like, listen, you're watching the news. I know you read the news. What do you think about what's happening? That's all I said. I didn't bring up the settlement. I didn't bring up anything. And he said, do you mean the whole 6% commission thing? Or do you mean the market? And I said, both. So he said, well, on the 6% commission thing, he told me what he thought. By the way, he was on point. He's like, it's always been negotiable. He's like, I think they're just making a big deal about it. I'm like, okay, cool. And I go, what do you think about the market? He's like, that's interesting. And then we went into a whole thing about the market. He was telling me how he felt. And what am I telling you from the very beginning? What are we going after? How do you make people feel? How do you make people feel? How do you think he felt? He felt heard. And you know what that allows? That allows for a question to come to me, which is the only reason I'm making the call, besides making him feel amazing. He then said, Tristan, what do you think? And that's the key. Now we're having a conversation. You know, a lot of the times you're throwing out answers and what you perceive as value, but it's at the wrong time. So yes, it's value, but it's falling on deaf ears because you haven't set it up. And so this way, it's flowing. And then he brought up, hey man, we've been talking about moving. Like, I don't know how it would look like, but maybe we move. I want you to test this out. This works so well right now. And if you want to leave the settlement piece out when you're asking for advice, ask what they think about the real estate market. And your core past clients and core sphere, they'll love you for it because it makes them feel like you care. It's a key. It's very key. All right, now let's talk about how you're going to get to where you're going to get to. Any questions, comments, concerns in between? Danny, dude, it is a ninja move, man. We thought instantly, how do we connect with people? But first, I always layer everything with, how am I making people feel? How am I making people feel? How am I making people feel? What do they feel when they're seeing me here, reading this from me, getting my emails, watching me on social? How are they feeling? Perception is everything when it comes to this. So any questions, comments there? In the meantime, I have my team. Do me a favor, everyone. Check out the link we're about to share with you. It's our group coaching. It's what we do. We've got it overwhelms you for sure. Like 20 sessions in a month is in some cases a lot, but you get a lot of me. You prospect live with me. You get to hear what I'm saying, how I maneuver situations, and it's all us. And you can participate in that. I would love to have you there. And we're going to put up a link there. There it is. Thank you so much. We already have some of you on here. Lynette, thank you so much. Trish, I appreciate that. We would love to have you here. And if you sign up today, after we're done here in about an hour and 20 minutes, we're going to have a little private session to welcome you in for about 30 minutes. Any clarity, any other questions you have, you can ask them there. And please jump in if you're not part of it. And in the meantime, though, let's continue, because here's what I think I'm watching. And although I am part of a brokerage, I feel that most brokerages have gotten this piece wrong. Not all, some are doing great, but most brokerages really have missed an opportunity to stop making it about the commission. It's never been about the commission. And when it is, that's when you're going to fail. I want you to make it, like I told you at the beginning, I want you to make it about the value that you bring to the table. And a lot of you haven't taken the time to outline what that value looks like. In fact, if you've read, and if you haven't, you can read these later, Good to Great, Built to Last by Jim Collins, and I think it's Jerry Posas. I think that's the second author. Both of those books revolve around the idea of companies lasting a long time, giving you the reasons, and then lay the core of this, which is vision. And so I want to touch on mission and vision. And I want to be very specific and lead you through this. In fact, it's a great exercise we're going to do together. I am going to give you these links on Wednesday when we send everything out. You'll have these in the meantime. You can take a snapshot as we're going to go through a lot of different things. So let me just take a sip of water. In the meantime, I want you to read the difference between mission and vision and tell me what you think. Really quick, this is water. It looks like beer. They just decided to make it look like beer, but it's water. All right, going back to here we go. All right, simple one. Mission is now. What do you stand for now? Vision is the future. What do you stand for in the future? What's pulling you forward, right? That's key. And I've got one for you at the top. I'm looking for it. And I want you to start thinking about what it looks like to create a mission. And creating a mission is extremely important because it really sets you apart. And right now, what we're looking for out there is differentiation. We want people, if we want to go back to that Apple ideal, it's, hey, what are you actually offering? What does this look like to work with you? Right? And this is how you do it. We're going to go zoom in here. You can take the 4 questions and you can start with that. But for me, I have an opportunity right now in the world that we're heading into to reimagine, to re-envision who we are as a real estate company and where we're heading. And if you look at the news, everyone thinks that a lot of people think that real estate agents are way overpaid and they don't have the nicest things to say about us. And I'm going to take responsibility for my part and say, maybe I need to look internally and stop blaming and say, what can I do about this? And so I want to start with this, and I want you to start with me. Your mission. What's your mission? Simple questions. We won't go into the deep questions. I'll send these over to you on Wednesday. But the simple questions, who we are. And look, if you're part of coaching, we'll just dump these into the messenger group coaching chat we've got right now so you can follow along. Simple questions. Who are we or who we are? Be specific. Who are we? Who do we serve? Now that one becomes really important because I'm going to tell you, I'm going to stop sharing really quick. Who we serve is so important because a lot of you think you're serving everyone, and that is the wrong answer. Wrong answer. You're not serving everyone. That's how you end up failing in this business long term. Who are you serving? Is it a specific audience? Is it a specific community? First-time home buyers, move up buyers, move down sellers, baby boomers, millennials. What does this look like? Luxury, 55 and over communities. Be very specific who your audience is because you would think that serving a small audience would cap you at a certain amount, but what it does is it opens it up because you become so amazing at one niche that people start talking. People start saying, hey, this Tristan guy actually did a great job here. I'm going to refer you. And those referrals start expanding to other audiences because you focused in on one thing. It's the same thing for other businesses. It's not just in real estate. So you've got to start thinking, what does this look like? Now, let me go back to that document for you. Matt, the audiences I think should be narrowed down to, I would challenge you to narrow it down to as few as possible. If you could do one, that'd be amazing. But if you don't feel comfortable narrowing it down to one, I would say 2 or 3 is okay. Once you start getting past that, it becomes a challenge because it disrupts the messaging. Like, what messaging are you delivering and to who? And I think that's where it becomes unclear who you are serving and what the benefits are to that group of people. What problems do you solve? What are they? And what transformation do you deliver? Let me tell you about that because that is key. The transformation. People want to know that this journey they're going to go on with you, you're going to take them where they need to go. And let me stop sharing. If you're taking them where they need to go, it's going to be a smooth ride. And they can trust you because you're an expert here. You're knowledgeable. And you're going to watch out for them. And the ride, it doesn't end once we close. It continues. You've got to have a plan for all of this. But it starts with the mission. What do you stand for now? What is that? And that's unclear for a lot of you. You don't have a mission. You don't have a vision, which we'll get into. But I think the key to this is saying, what does my mission stand for? And does it align with my core values? And that becomes a challenge because some of you have these core values. And I can tell you one of my core values, and I have them outlined. In fact, let's see if I have them here for you so you can see what they look like. I have them here. Perfect. Here are my core values, and then we'll continue on the mission. And I would ask you to do something similar for yourself. I came up with these a few years back when I was reading that Amazon they have their principles, other companies too, but I was inspired by Amazon to create these for me and my businesses. So wait a second, what are the values that I have that I can then create my mission around? And yes, I rearranged it so that it made sense for me, the acronym iSpark, right? We just added A because we realized that we're really quick at switching things around where we adapt very fast. And for me, the core of it was kindness. I always approach things with, wait a second, maybe it's not their fault. What can I do better? How can I help? How do I want to make people feel? So I do my best to put other people first, and that stands out in a lot of the things that we do. And for you, I want you to start thinking, what is that? What is that for you? What are my core values? How do I function? And when you start asking questions like that, you can then be ready to go to the second part of this, which is, let me share your vision. Vision is the future. Remember this. This is who you aspire to be, and let it pull you through. I'm going to stop sharing really quick. Your vision is where you have an opportunity to challenge yourself. It needs to inspire you and be like, I got it. This is where I want to go. Because the vision that you set can determine what your limits are. In fact, your vision is what drives your brand. Where are we heading? What are we doing? And Jim Collins in the book, I believe it was Good to Great, said the core foundation of everything that we do when we start building businesses at any level is the vision that we set, because it not only drives us and helps us to aspire to be greater, but it also sends that message to the consumer. And it also sends that message to the people that work with us, our associates, our staff. What do you stand for and what are you shooting to do? Best example, like him or not, and I'll give you examples here, right? But to me, I'm thinking Tesla, I'm thinking Elon Musk. He's a controversial figure, but you think of one thing, his vision, I want to go to Mars. That's it. And the people that work with him feel that vision. Do you feel that vision? Your vision? Do people that know you feel your vision? That becomes an important question, right? Now let's go through this. To get a vision, simple questions. And remember, I'll send this over to you so you can have all these great things. But simple questions. Who do you aspire to be? Who you aspire to be, your answer, boom. Next, who do you want to serve in the future? Not who do you serve now? Who do you want to serve? And what problems will you have solved? Right? Future tense. That becomes a big difference. And I want to share with you, I think this is the one, examples of vision statements. Yeah, this is the one I liked. So you see here, we'll go through a few together. BBC, to be the most creative organization in the world. Visions are meant to be short, to the point. Disney, to make people happy. Google, to provide access to the world's information in one click. That's pretty easy. IKEA, to create a better everyday life for many people. I like that. Or it could be like to build my furniture like Lego pieces too. Instagram, capture and share the world's moments. Nike, I like Nike, to bring inspiration and innovation to every athlete in the world. I mean, they narrowed that down to athlete. It's not everyone. And yet what happened? That's a good one. When they started serving a niche amount of people, and if you've ever read the book Shoe Dogs by Phil Knight, you understand. If you haven't, pick that one up. It's great. And read it. Let it inspire you. Athletes, and now what do? They serve everyone. Nike's everywhere. They don't sell shoes. They sell everything that has to do with anything. Clothes, socks, sports equipment, everything. You start with a niche and you're able to grow. Now let me go to questions really quick and then we'll go back. Hector, I'm going to leave that up to you. Hector asks, should it be for business or personal? I think right now we're talking business, but you can make a personal one. It's not a problem. Matthew, love I Spark. Yeah, Matthew. I'm going to challenge you to create your own. Jenna, that book was Shoe Dog. And Phil Knight is the creator of Nike. So that's who wrote it. It was a good one. And let me see what else I missed, guys. Joe, I like your mission in Just Cause, end animal abuse and neglect by supporting shelters and rescues throughout our community. I think that's a combination, Joe, of your mission and vision because you're saying end animal abuse into the future. So work on that. But I like where you're going. I like where you're going with that. So as you're thinking about this and saying, okay, I can reimagine, re-envision now what I stand for, mission, and what I would love to achieve and stand for in the future, problems I'm going to solve in the future, vision. Once you start realigning with those and taking time to outline those, you're going to get to the next step. But first, I need to make this clear. It's not something that's going to happen in 5 minutes. Something that you can make the core of what your company stands for isn't something that's going to happen overnight. So this is what I tell people, minimum what you need to do when you start thinking of how you're creating this. Okay, ready? Number one, you got to schedule 2 hours to do this. You're going to dive deep. In fact, you're probably going to use ChatGPT. You may use Gemini. If you go to Google or ChatGPT, doesn't matter. Now I want you to think 2 to 10 years out. This will help with the vision, right? You already know what you're doing right now to achieve things. That'll help with the mission. The future will be like, well, what do I aspire to be in 10 years if I'm still around? 15 years if I'm still around? What if I'm not around? What does this look like to leave a legacy behind, to leave it to the next generation? Which is number 3, think of your legacy. In the book, The Infinite Game by Simon Sinek, it says the goal is not short-term profits, but long-term endurance. And a lot of the times, you know what we focus on, and I'll come back to this, our business lends itself to think about the immediate gratification. Why? Because we're hunters, right? We go for people that need to close transactions now. It's normal because it's commission-based. We're on a contingency basis. We go free. Here's my time. Here's my effort, everything, and then it closes. Oh, got paid. So of course we tend to focus on the short-term gains. But here's where I'm challenging you. You're building something much more than now. You're building something that withstands anything that comes your way. And I used this phrase a few weeks ago, but it applies right here. That's as we move closer to becoming like the Jetsons, because we're getting bombarded with AI, amazing automation. We have robots now that can do things, and I'm going to be able to buy a robot for my house. Help me do whatever. I don't even know what the heck it is. As we move closer to becoming like the Jetsons, the people that function like the Flintstones are the ones that are going to win big. Why? Because we've slowed down enough to connect with people. That's not going to change. This is a relationship-based business. People need to know that you care. People need to know that they can trust somebody to handle the biggest transaction of their life. It requires you and me. And this is why we can't be beat. Will some people transition into this? No, there will be people left behind. But this is why you need to take this seriously. You need to regroup, rethink, and say, what do I stand for? What do people know I stand for? Is it clear? Number 4, how can I serve my clients quicker, net them more, communicate better with them, and change their lives for the better? You need to start thinking about them first, everyone else first, the people you're serving first. Who are they? How can you help them better? Core question. Get clear. Be specific. None of this vague stuff. Let me stop sharing and come back to you. None of this 2x, 3x, 4x, 10x crap. It frustrates me so much to hear that because there's no clarity. It's just motivational. And you know what happens with motivation? It dies out because there's no plan. There are no action steps. And tomorrow, I'm going to make it so damn clear for you that we're going to put it into your calendar, itemized, to make this work because I'm in it to make you succeed. That's why I built Lab Code Agents in the first place. It's free. It's like, Tristan, what's in it for you? I'm like, there's nothing in it for me. I built it because I needed to help people. What about you? Can people see that you want to help? Can people see that value? And then to you, why is this important to you? Because at the core of everything, yes, it is about you. But this is going to get hard. This is going to get harder. Things are changing. Things are always changing, but things get a little more challenging because some of us kind of let go of the gas pedal. And I'm telling you, no, it's time to throttle this thing because I need you to thrive through this. And this why is at the core of how you function. You just need to remind yourself right now, why are you doing this? Why are you in business right now? Why? Why do you even talk to clients? Why are you taking them in your car? Why do you take these overpriced listings? I've taken them. I don't mind. It's okay. That's the reality of the situation. But why do we do it? I want you to get clarity on this because the why is what pushes you through all of the hard times. You know, those people that left the industry and that will continue to leave, their why was just not pulling them hard enough. Like, why are you doing this again? Oh, yeah, it's not, doesn't mean that much to me. But I've gone through it. I mean, geez, 2007, 2008, going from earning as a single agent $500,000 a year to 55,000, but having the expenses still of 500,000. You better believe I suffered. And it was, I'm like, is this for me? Let me go back to my why. And I know all of you have this. Why are you in this business? Why? Gail says, I have an iRobot vacuum. We call her Rosie. Gail, yeah, this is iRobot. Me too. I've got two, one downstairs, one upstairs. Julianne says, I love how this already is making me dig deep and think of these important facets of my career. I'm already thinking of my mission statement. You know what's interesting, Julianne? Great comment. What's interesting is that we forget how important the mission and the vision is for two reasons. One, it centers us around the things that are the most important to us and to the consumer. And then number two, it drives the message daily because you know what we do as real estate agents? We're like this. Woo, this is pretty over here. Wait a second. Does this work? I want the silver bullet, right? That's how we are all the time. And this centers us. This is why I spent so much time on this because it's so key to your growth. It's so key to going deeper. And I think you need to slow down and say, who are the people that I'm connecting with? Who are the important people in my life? And let me go back to this document and end it for you, and then we'll shift over to the second part. But here, number 7, get input from people that you trust, not from anybody, because there are going to be haters that you have around you. Be careful who you send this document to for your mission and your vision. Value their responses. That's going to be important. And then revise, do a final draft. And then here's the key, review often. Why? You change. Things change. Review often. The best story I have is for this on change is Sears. Sears back in 1931 created Allstate Insurance. And then it rapidly grew. It grew until they separated. I think it was 1993, they separated it. And then it made so much more money that where is Sears now and where is Allstate? They started paying attention to what they stood for, and they looked at the opportunities and they shifted, right? What do we got here? Alexander says, anything good is not easy. Isn't that the truth, man? Yvonne, I'm going to get to some harder questions if you think these are hard, which will create a lot more clarity for you, by the way. Felicia, would you share your mission statement in your pre-listing packet? 100% yes. In fact, I would share my vision statement as well. Mission and vision. And if you align so well with them, people will know what you stand for before they even meet you. That's when it becomes super beautiful. All right, now let me shift over to a couple of things. Any questions you've got right now, let me know in the comments. I'm going to remind you of just everything as an opportunity really quick, because I've got an outline of all the possible things you can do for prospecting. I just want to make it clear that you might not be thinking deep enough when it comes to all of your possible options for prospecting. I created this late last year and I keep on adding to it. Believe it's this one, and then I'll share my screen with you. And yeah, I'll give it out to everybody. Yeah, here it is. Let me go back over here. Now, this is a little overwhelming. It's meant to be. But when you look at real estate prospecting, by the way, it's the title to the book I released mid last year, Real Estate Prospecting. Pick it up. Real estate prospecting, these are all the possible things that you can do. And I add to it this weekly too. Hosting community events, housewarming parties, local professional vendor partners, open houses, door knocking. By the way, that's how I started my business, door knocking. And I know door knocking has changed over the years because of Ring and certain areas you can't. Local charities, start a meetup, happy hour at lounges. I never did that, but a few of my friends did, and they do so well with this. FISBOs for rent by owners, sponsor local events, Popeyes, one-on-one coffee is one of my favorite, which we'll get into. All of these things. If you want to jog your memory on all of the possible things, yes, I will hand this one out as well. I just wanted to remind you that you're not thinking deep enough when it comes to all of the possible things, but they have to revolve around what you're an expert on. You just can't blindly choose all of them. What are you great at already? What do people know you're great at? That's what you have to lean on heavy and expand on that. All right, what do we got here? I am torn. 2 lab coat webinars conflicting in day and time. Betty, yes, that'll be a great one as well. Either one, we won't blame you. Stacy, where do you feel your UVP should be in all of this? I think when you have your mission and your vision and you have your core values, that'll pop up your unique value proposition, and then you can start putting that into everything because it's going to revolve around those 3 things. You can post it up on your website. You can do it on your newsletter, on your postcards, on social media, everywhere you can. So great question on that one. Noreen, Dave, our mission and core values is on our first page. Ooh, I like that. I don't have the vision, but will after this. Great one, Noreen. Stacy, great question. So now let's get into this other part for you, which I think outlines where you should be focused on the most. Okay, let me get to it. And some of you already know this part because you've been with me for a little bit. In fact, I talk about this in the book. And when I'm thinking value, when I'm thinking mission, vision, and being able to connect with people because I care about how they feel and I want everything that I'm sending out or every opportunity they have to connect with me, it's always how do they feel, and hopefully I'm making people feel great, and I'm really showing how I'm providing value for them. Go ahead and take a snapshot of this because you won't get it until Wednesday. or if you're already in the group coaching, you'll get it right now. Monch, can you drop this one into, or James, can you drop this one into, I think Monch has it, but drop this into the messenger chat. I call this HOP. And for me, I was looking back to our business and saying, why am I getting one referral a day from past clients, core sphere, and agent to agent? Those were the three things I was looking at. And we realized that it was because our brand was meeting our clients at home, online, and in person consistently over a long period of time. And it was value driven, right? And so when you look at value, we go back to the three things. What are we? Dopamine dealers. Number two, we're an expert and we show it, right? And number three is we've built in permission into this. We have that built in, and we consistently touch on it through value, right? It's a circle. So as you go through this, I want you to get really specific, and I've got one chart for you, or one flow chart that, let me see if this is the right one. I believe it's this one. Yeah, it is. Perfect. I need a yes. Can you all see this flow chart? It says prospecting 2024. I need a yes in the chat because I'm not able to see you. Perfect. Thanks, James. All right, got you guys. Thank you. This is more of a reminder for those of you that are with me already in coaching. For those of you that are watching this for the first time, for us, this was our plan for 2024. And yes, all of these expand, which all of you will get these, right? Because of the details. The one I want to focus on is this one. Let me shrink this one down. I want to focus on core past clients and core sphere. What does that mean? I'll come back to this. What does that mean for you? It means that you're going to have to take some time, grab this phone of yours or your CRM and identify, who are my core past clients? Who are the people that'll recognize me and enjoy talking to me, and I enjoy talking to them? Because it's not about everyone and never will be about everyone. It's about those core people that you enjoy connecting with, that also enjoy connecting with you. That's what it's about. And a lot of you have the mistaken premise that when you open up your CRM, that you've got to contact everyone. That's not how it works. Not everyone is built equally for you. Some people will connect with you deeper, and you've got to reward them, and you've got to connect with them more. They're giving you permission to connect deeper. And that's part of it. So I need you to itemize this, like get a piece of paper out if you can, or put it up on your CRM. Who are your core sphere? Who are they? Write them down, identify them, tag them on a CRM. Then who are my, if you've got past clients, who are my core past clients? James says, I don't have the doc. Let me give this to you, James, so I can share this really quick with you. I believe it was the IHOP one, right? Oh, well, the HOP one, not the IHOP one. IHOP would be a different one, right? I can tell you where my brain is at, right? Pancakes, syrup, bacon and eggs, maybe. There you go, James. I give it over to you. So as you think deeper on HOP, yes, Stephen, it is, man. You want to think about how can you connect deeper with people when it comes to your core sphere. And so I outlined it for everyone. And here's what it looks like. Here are the opportunities you have that we all miss, but we shouldn't miss. The HOP method revolves around you meeting them at home. What does this look like? If you're going to be meeting them at home and you know that there are a lot of opportunities that you can make people feel amazing at home, here are only some, not all, some. For me, I gravitate to handwritten notes. I still do. And that's because I can easily, and let me shift out, I can easily grab one of these after I meet you, or if I've scheduled it correctly and I'm like, oh, today I'm reaching out just to two, one core sphere, one core past client. I'm going to write a note. Be like, hey, how are you doing? Be very specific as to why I'm reaching out, or just saying hello, and this is why. And the specificity of why you're reaching out is key to everything that you do. It just can't be about connecting with people through touching base or saying, hey, I'm just calling to check up on your home, right? Think of that conversation I had earlier that I mentioned with Farong. It was very specific. Hey, do you have time to talk about real estate? I have a question for you, or I need advice. Now, when you think of being specific, you think, okay, that's how you start offering value. The postcards that you send out all revolve around value. Yes, some of those will revolve around showing off a little bit, showing what you've sold, because that creates value as well. It's like, oh, this person can do the job. Got it. They have a history. Gifts through Client Giant, or you can do drop-offs, whatever you want. If you've got the time to go to a great store and create little gift baskets like one of my agents does, you could definitely do that. For us, though, as a whole, Client Giant so much better. I can scale it faster, and I can give gifts depending on who my clients are that I'm sending this to. And then obviously there's send out cards and handwritten, either one. Those are great. This is stuff that's going to their house. And I don't know about you, but on Client Giant or drop offs, those two specifically, if I'm looking at that, I'm thinking like this: how are people feeling when they get something from me at home? Something that they have to open, something that comes in a box. It's that whole feeling thing, because I know how I feel when I order stuff for myself on Amazon. How do you feel? I know, I know how Trenton feels. Trenton and I both feel great when we order stuff for ourselves. And I know Trenton's laughing right now. So James probably feels great too, as long as it's not an Apple product, right, James? Yeah, it's like Christmas at the door, Trish. James, I feel amazing. Yeah, that's the key to this. And so as you think deeper, you're like, what other opportunities I have? I only put a few here. All the ones we do, minus the magazine. I don't do the magazine, but I know a few of the agents we coach do this, and they say it's great. But if you were going to pick one, I would start with the handwritten notes. And then you can start layering these later as you start making more money. Remember, this is just for your core past clients and core sphere. And the world that you're transitioning into or being reminded of right now revolves around long-term relationships. And those relationships all come from how are you making people feel? Because people don't care about you until they know you care about them. And that's what you're layering into this in your business. And I think we forget that sometimes. So when we go over here and we go to part 2 to this, when you meet them online, I think this is probably the biggest opportunity we have, right? Social media is the one I would start with, or call, text, emails. There's a lot here, but let me focus on just these two. If I'm doing call, texts, or emails, my conversations will not sound like you hear most agents call. This is a business call. Bleh, I hate that. Or when you're touching base with me, I always think, what does that even mean? I need intent behind this call. Can you tell me why you're calling me? So your call should sound more like, hey, Joe, it's Tristan. Listen, I had an electrician over the other day. Or, you know who I had over actually yesterday? It was a gardener. He did such a great job fixing the sprinklers that were just busting out to the top. And now I'm reaching out to you because I've got this great gardener. Do you need one? And then what happens? They're like, no, but I need a plumber. Tristan, do you have one? Because I was specific, it opened up everything else. And now, because I know most homeowners live in their home for 10 years, on average in the United States, 18 years in Los Angeles, which is crazy. That's how long people are staying in their homes, right? Affordability is an issue. I'm focused now on MRI. maintenance, repairs, and improvements. And I'm reaching out to people knowing that they're going to be in their home for a long time. How can I be of use while they live there? Because if I can be there for those things, I'm also going to be there for any other life-changing events they need. If their family got bigger, they may need to move. If there was a death in the family, I can connect them to someone, or they may need to move. All these life events and all these things that happen in the home are all opportunities. But you know what we think of most of the time? We don't think of this long-term view. We see it as short-term. And that's why NAR says close to 90% of agents don't reach out to their past clients once they become past clients. The difference is this. If you can compare this, financial advisors don't call their past clients. They're just clients. We have this terminology that we use that kind of makes it feel like, oh, it already happened. We shouldn't focus on them as much. Real estate agents call their clients, I mean, there are current clients. They're just not transacting right now. We call them past clients, and then they kind of fall off to the side. Again, why? Because we're commission based and we have that mentality. Whereas a finance person, that's a client for life. The client for life changes. It changes the way you think of them. And that's what we're doing with this HOP method. Now I'm calling them for a reason, right? You think a financial person's going to reach out to you? Your financial advisor is going to reach out to you and just say, hey, I'm just touching base. Who's on here? Who made that last comment? Maria. Oh, it was maintenance, repairs, and improvements. Maintenance, repairs, and improvements. Maria, imagine I'm a financial advisor. You're my client. I'm reaching out to you and I'm like, hey, I'm just touching base. How's everything going? No, that is not the type of conversation that happens. And so when you think about the opportunities that you have, they only come with the opportunities you create. What's the reason for calling? What's the reason for texting? What's the reason for emailing? And that also transitions into social media. And a lot of you don't approach it that way. A lot of you still approach social media like if it's not an arm for prospecting. And that's where I want to show you. If we go to social media, there are so many layers to this social media piece. But one, you've got the opportunity to reach out to people through structured content. There's two pieces to social. One is the content you create. What does that revolve around? Easy. Your mission, your vision, your core values. In fact, we may want to pause right there because I want to go through and give you other questions. I think there was one person who said, yeah, those questions were tough. Felicia, I think it was you, Felicia, right? Who said, yeah, those are hard questions. Well, I'm going to create a lot more clarity with these questions for you. Finding your brand, finding your social media pillars. I believe I created these late last year. What do we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 sets. And each one has questions. I would want you to focus on these 4, the blue, purple, green, and yellow. Everyone gets these on Wednesday, but for now, let's go through them really quick to get more specific. The more clarity you have, the faster you'll succeed. You know where you're going. What do I love? If I'm showing up on social media or if I'm building a brand around something that I love, well, I better ask myself, what hobbies do I do often? For me, I love reading. Second question, what's something I would do every day, even if I wasn't paid to do it? I would read. I would read a lot more, right? And I would do it every day. And if I was paid, I mean, I would do it a lot more. What's something I wish I had more time to do? Read. That was an easy one. What activities or topics light a fire in me or make me lose track of time? What do I love? This is how you start showing up more on social. A lot of you think, well, it can only be real estate related. Wrong. You have to connect with people at a level that allows them to connect with you on a human level. Oh, yeah, they do this. That's cool. They play pickleball. I play pickleball. Next, what am I good at? And this, I think, can shift the content that you put out because now you start thinking, what can I teach better than anyone else I know? What is that? What, what do I have a process for that simplifies my life? I don't know if Elena's on here, but Elena does such a great job with her vegetable garden. She loves planting and she's just starting to do this on social. It's like people will connect with you deeper if you do this more. Social media isn't just about real estate. Don't get me wrong, you can do it. I do just real estate, but I don't have to. I can connect with people with things that are my hobbies because it opens up a whole new world through that niche again. So when you're looking at social media and you're creating content, you've got to ask yourself these questions. What do I do every day by choice? Again, going back to that first one at the top. What are the things I excel at, both naturally and through effort? What strengths do others see in me? Who's my audience? Ooh, this is a good one. Who's my audience? What are their needs? What are their needs? If I'm going real estate, if I'm going in deep, I'm like, well, what are they needs? Well, hold on just a second. Who's my audience? Let's just go for luxury clients that live in Malibu and Westlake Village. Well, what are their needs? Well, their needs, they want to play more. They want to see where else they can go and visit. Okay, got it. Okay, what are their habits? Well, they love to travel. They love to buy certain products. They love nice cars, right? They love being at the beach. That's why they live here. What do they love? What do they absolutely love? They love quality over everything else. What's specific about quality that they enjoy, that they can trust it? You can go and have a field day just on this one. Now, what's my job? This one gets a little bit more focused. What do I do for a living? Well, I'm a real estate agent. I can definitely dig deeper on that, right? Because there's a lot to it. What would other people watching be interested in about my job? What's my brand? Man, that's a hard one right there. What do I stand for? Well, that's why we did mission and vision first. But what would other people watching be interested about my job? You know what? It's the thing that you're so great at. That's what they would be interested in watching. The thing that you're so great at in this business that you just don't talk about because you don't know how people will feel. Maybe they'll judge you. Maybe they'll be like, they didn't know that much. That's your fixed mindset talking to you. Because I still do that. Anytime I do videos that have anything to do with the market or the settlement, especially now, right? The settlement, I second guess myself all the time. I'm like, I'm going to have somebody out there. There's a few, and it happens every time. They're going to call me, oh, who's this clown? Oh, who is this idiot? When you put yourself out there, you're going to get those. But more importantly, you find your tribe. You find those people that can connect with you. And what do you do when you find those people that can connect with you? You go deeper. You slow down with those because when you go here, right, this section, social media, LCM strategy, I'm going to open up Facebook and I'll do this with you. Facebook. And you can do this on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, wherever. You're going to scroll down and you're going to go through, and the people that you connect with are your friends. Because of your friends, you're following them, they follow you back. You're going to like, comment, message. And you're going to go deeper with them. You're going to slow down because what is this all about? This is about making people feel amazing. And when you slow down on social media and you treat it like a CRM, you treat it like it's part of your database, people can connect with you. You're allowing them to connect. Let's go to Amy. Amy just posted something up. So it says sometimes making a life change is necessary. Let's read this. This is long. I'm going to skip this. I'm going to go down to the bottom. Oh, this is the other thing where some of you are watching. Let's go to Sarah. Sarah, I think you're on here. Sarah, if I were going to go through here, it'd be like 10 ways to avoid being trolled on April Fools. I'd read it and then I'd like it, right? And I would comment. And if you notice, see more, I can't expand that. She got me. And that's actually very funny, Sarah. That was really good. I'm going to comment and I'll be like, that's a good one. I'm going to use that one. I'm going to comment, right? Like, comment. Let me see if I can comment at the bottom. You got me. And now what I would do after that is I would hover over her name and I'm going to message her. You see that? I'm going to message her. And then you do this all morning, every day with the core people, sphere, core past clients if they're on here. And what starts happening is that you fall into a place that not very many people visit. You're concerned about the people you're connecting with. And the place that people don't visit is thinking and caring about others first. I want to make people feel amazing. That's what social media was built on. It wasn't built on what most of you are seeing. But if I choose, because I have a growth mindset, if I choose to use social media to grow my business because I connect with people deeper and I make them feel amazing, I stand out. I stand out. Like, comment, message every day, 20 minutes. And then what happens? Now we have these conversations going out throughout the whole day. It happens every day. I don't bring up real estate. They bring it up, just like when Farong brought up he might want to sell. And then Sarah would check out my profile. And that's where the beautiful piece happens. Because now that she checked out my profile, I'm going to show up on her feed for the next few minutes consistently. And what happens if I'm posting things consistently that show my value, show what I love, my hobbies? She sees it and connects with the real part of me, the authentic piece. You see, the world's changing and it's leaving a lot of you behind because you're not using technology to build relationships. That's all it's there for. It's there to bridge that gap faster. When we look at AI and artificial intelligence, we're like, well, how can we use this piece to connect deeper with people? How can we show our value more through using AI? It can clarify our message. In fact, if I were you, I'd go and try to build my mission and vision on ChatGPT or Gemini. Gemini is just the Google version of ChatGPT. Ask it questions, go deeper, say, hey, I'm a real estate agent and I'm building out a mission. And this is what I stand for. Can you help me build out a 1-sentence mission or 2 sentences? Same thing with vision. Now it gets a lot easier. And then you can share that with people, refine it, and go back. Now, if we go back to this piece, let me go back to social and then go over to prospecting. Now that I've got the social media piece taken care of, I can go and say, well, what other things can I do? Retargeting. Well, if I retarget people with the right messaging over a longer period of time, what happens? They come back to me. And I'm just going to do this as an impromptu. Let me see if I can go to open up Follow Up Boss. I use Follow Up Boss and I use Lofty. Let me see here. And I think we use Real Geeks and a few other ones. If I'm looking at our people for this database that I have, we've got 78,000 people in this database, right? Together, we've got a whole bunch. So don't worry about how many people we've got. We've got so many leads that came through. What we would like to do is take a look at who's visited our website. Let's go to Francie. Francie's been on our website for over a year, belongs to Mark Rader, one of our top agents, is one of our coaches too. If I'm looking at this and saying, wait a second, how did they come back? Well, they were retargeted. That's how they came back. And they became a priority lead because they saw a property. Why? Because we retargeted them with other properties. And I think we miss that piece because we don't fully understand how retargeting works or how it should work. Because I don't have time to reach out to 78,000 people, and neither does my team. But the tech we use does. It just has to be value driven. We know that most people who visit our website and visit Zillow and visit Realtor.com and Redfin, they're going there for property. So just give it to them, right? What do we got? We got some questions. How do we do retargeting, Google or Facebook? Heather Trenton, who's our director of technology, he's also one of our coaches. He coaches live. He's gone through that a few times. In fact, one of our next sessions in the next couple of months, we'll go into how retargeting works as well. So that's definitely going to be there. All right, we've got about 20 minutes left. I want to finish this HOP process, the HOP, because I need you to start picking one of these things that are on there and saying, got it, I know what I'm going to do. Tristan, under my brand meets my core past clients at home, it meets them online. I'm going to pick, and I'll get to the last one, but at home, I'm going to pick one. Let me go back to this and let's do this together because I want to hear what you've got. All right, this was follow-up boss. Let me shift out of it. If I'm going to go to home, and you can pick your own too, that's not even on here. I want in the chat, if you're going to pick one for your core past clients in core sphere, which one is it going to be? I can tell you for me, if I was starting all over, it would be handwritten notes. What about you? Handwritten notes, postcards, gifts. You can do gifts to client giant or drop-offs. Printed newsletter, you can print them out, deliver them, or hand mail them. I've got two agents that do this, and I love it. Or send out cards. You can do send out cards. How many brownies have I gotten? I mean, I've been trying to get a 6-pack for about 15 years now, but those damn brownies just, they're nonstop. So thank you everybody who's sending me brownies. I appreciate you. I love those brownies. At this point, I think I get more brownies than everything else. All right, let's see what we've got. James, those brownies are so damn good, right? Stacy, handwritten notes and birthday cards. Love that. Love the birthday cards, by the way. What do we got? Handwritten notes, handwritten notes. Hector, handwritten notes. Kim, drop-offs. Kim, I'd like to know what drop-offs you have. That's kind of cool. When I see drop-offs, I always want to know. Julie, handwritten notes. Angie, notes. Thank you for this reminder. Angie, it's the Flintstone stuff that works, right? People forget. It's like that's what makes people feel amazing. Heather, and phone calls. Heather, yes, definitely. That's going to be on the online one because we're going to go through that. Notes, handwritten notes, handwritten. Oh, that's probably where everybody wants to start. It is actually the easiest and most impactful. AM cards is great. Changing mind with handwritten notes with homemade cookie drop-offs. James, homemade cookies, dude. That's commitment. I like that. I like that. All right. Now, thank you for telling me. I want you to write that down on the notes that you have. Say, hey, my core past clients, core sphere, I'm going to drop off. I'm going to do a hand, whatever it is. One thing. There it is. Now let's go to the next one. There's a lot on this one. And there's way more. I could have gone a lot, but then it could have been really big. And then I was like, it won't be visually appealing. So Jared, Carly, AM cards. Ooh, that's a hard one, man. They're both good. I'm not going to say one or the other, just a preference. What are you going to do on this one, everyone? What are you committed to doing? If it's one, which one would it be? And I'll tell you which the three that most people start with, okay? Most people start with the online newsletter. They go to MailChimp. It's their core past clients. They're only sending it out to them. MailChimp is free if you're doing 2,000 sends or less. Easy. done. And if you're part of coaching, you get the templates that we've made for you. And you also get LCA Marketing Center. So they're in there. You don't have to reinvent the templates. Next, some people say, well, you know what? I love calling people. I love texting them. I love emailing them. Core past clients, core sphere. And then the last one is social media, LCM. Those are the main three. Obviously, you can do a lot of other ones. I know some people inside of our group have started Facebook groups and doing well with them. But for you, I need your participation again on O. What are you going to pick? If I was starting over based on my strengths, remember, what are your strengths? I would pick this one, social media, the LCM strategy, daily, 20 minutes a day. What about you? All right, tell me what you're going to do. Are you going to set up calls, texts, emails, LCM, newsletter, something different that's not on here? What's it going to be? What's it going to be? All right, Todd, we got LCM. James, newsletter, already doing LCM, newsletter. James, I love it. You're in coaching, use the templates that we have. Don't reinvent this thing, dude. Diane, LCM. Noreen, LCM and texts. Okay, combo, I like it. Podcast, Yvonne, that's awesome. I like that. Kelly, LCM, retargeting. I like Trish. I like that you're adding that. Alexander, LCM newsletter. Texts. I'll add LCM. Rick. Nice. Rick, good job. Thanks for being here. Gail, LCM, I can't help it. James Patton. Okay, I like it. James, I'll resend you the templates. Perfect. Leanne, social media. Dave, drop off bread is going to be at the top on this one, but you definitely need to drop a bread. And I'll tell you, you also need to start a newsletter that has your daily slice on it or weekly slice, right? That's what you need to do. Alma, LCM, and Stacy, I use social media. Mira, social media. Yeah, Dave, there you go. Dave's already part of our coaching, so I know what he's talking about with sourdough. So when you're talking about this, it's like these are your opportunities. Now, the last one, Deandra, LCM and handwritten notes, perfect. You've got two. Now, here's the last one. Here's where you bring it all together. Because I don't know about you, but most people during COVID, there was one thing missing. It was a community piece. It was the touch. It was the let's meet in person. And now psychologists are showing that that was a big detriment to the society and saying we missed that piece. It's a piece that we really need as humans. It's the connection piece. Like, this is great what we're doing. But if it was in person, it would be better for most people. And that piece is what we bring together when you're looking at HOP. It's the in-person piece. And this is where you have more opportunities in this. In fact, I break it down in this, so you'll probably see it. Where is this one? I believe it's the prospecting Mindmeister. It was here. When you get this one, you can see all of the different possible times you can meet in person. They're all spread out. There's a lot. All right. So there's definitely there. Now, when you go in and take a look at these, I picked the top ones. And for me, we've done the yearly events. We've done the Halloween party that had 400 people. It created a lot of anxiety for me because I like to pay attention to people one-on-one. So I was like getting bombarded and it was a lot of anxiety. And some people love it though. Like some people thrive on this thing and I don't. So I gravitate to one-on-one coffee. Sometimes small group lunch dinners. Sometimes I was on this last night. This is what I did last night. Saw a small group dinner. We went to an Indian restaurant. But I still thrive on this for me. Now I want to know when you're piecing this all together, and then we'll go over one-on-one coffees, how it works. We can go over events too. That's a whole coaching session. But if we're looking at one-on-one coffees, for me, that completes the three that I would focus on. For you, what would it be? What would you add? What's the simplest thing you could say, boom, that falls within my strength? I'm going to add that. Now I have handwritten notes, I have LCM, and I have one-on-one coffee for my core sphere and core past clients. Put it in here. What are you going to do? Which one are you going to pick from these? And then I'll tell you how I roll with one-on-one coffee and why it's so important into our business so much, and why people refer us business. All right, like the Events Good one-on-one, Rick one-on-one too, Pam one-on-one, one-on-one. It's also the least expensive, right? So if you're money conscious, one-on-one works so well. Noreen, we used to do pumpkin picking parties until COVID and never got back to that. Oh, Noreen, that's pretty cool. I would definitely think about bringing that one back. Carlos one-on-one, Kelly one-on-one, Todd coffee, happy hours. James, that's a really good one. I like that. Coffee hour. I mean, coffee. See, I'm thinking of coffee, so I thought of coffee hour. Now, by accident, James, that may be an amazing one. Coffee hour, where I pay for everyone's coffee for that 1 hour at the local coffee shop. That might work, James. That might work. Happy hour. I dig it. All right, one and two. Okay, I got you. 1 on 2, James. I mean, Jared. Very good. So now here's how one-on-one coffee works. We had a whole session on this in group coaching. By the way, if you haven't checked out our group coaching, it's on sale. It's usually $479 a month. Right now it's $149. You get these 20 sessions. You get technology like LCM Marketing Center and a bunch of other cool, amazing things. Now we went into this one-on-one coffee, and here's why it works so well, because I've also seen it work like crap. And that's because some agents can't stop talking. They just have diarrhea of the mouth. And so what I want you to do is be conscious of that and say, remember, these are your core past clients, core sphere, right? They don't need a phone call to ask if you can have coffee. It's a simple text. It's a text. It's like, I'm going to pick you, James. Hey, James, would you like to have some coffee Friday? I'm going to be in your area. 12, is that okay? Or 5? And you text me back and say, sure. You could also text me back, no, and then we'd go a different route, which is great. But let's go with yes, let's have coffee. Great. Which one's better? You'll say 5. Let's go 5. I'm like, great. Let's go 5. I'll meet you at Ragamuffin. It's my hangout, right? It's close to your house. So we'll do that. Now, I get there early, right? I'm also reminding them, hey, it's here for coffee. But I get there early because I don't like the back and forth. I'll pay, you pay. Remember, these are your core past clients and core sphere. So you know they're going to want to pay for the most part. So I don't like that. So I get there early. Get there early. I snapshot the menu and I'm like, hey, no traffic. I got here early. What do you want? This is what I'm getting. And I always get the same thing, the Mexican mocha, right? And so I just always say, hey, look, one of these comes with 4 shots of espresso. So I'm just warning you, it's probably good for you to do the 2, right? And so he's like, okay, I'll do the 2. James, you'll do the 2. And you want a blueberry muffin, or you want anything, or what do you want? The avocado toast is amazing, by the way, if you want that. So Blanca, right? Mexican mocha. So good. So good. They had this little it's kind of like abuelita's like big chocolate thing. I don't know. You should Google it if you don't know what it is. It's like the cinnamon chocolatey flavor. It's delicious. Now I want to go to Ragamuffin. James, so you and I are meeting there. I get there early, snapshot, send it over to you. You tell me what you want. I order it. When you get there, everything's set. I sit down, you sit down, and then I ask you how you're doing. And then you tell me. And then I ask, hey, so how's this and that? And you tell me. Now, at some point in the conversation, James, you're going to ask me how real estate is going, right? Because remember, you're my core past client, core sphere. These are people that you know, they know you by name. You're going to say, Tristan, what's up with real estate? And if you've been watching, you probably say, hey, what is this thing about the 6% thing or the commission thing? They're probably going to say, how are you doing? And I'm going to say simply, I'm going to tell them the truth. Hey, real estate's in our area, it's still going up and it's been a little nutty. And remember, obviously, James, if you've got anybody, send them my way, right? I love working with people like you. That's it. And then I ask and I deflect back and go, James, how are your kids? Or have you already talked about your kids? How's your wife? Or if I've already talked about the wife, I talk about something different. The point is I pivot back to you because this whole thing relies on the exact same thing I talked about in the morning. How do you want to make people feel? And if it's about me, I don't make people feel good. But if it's about them and me listening and going back and saying, tell me more. Oh, what about that? You went to Hawaii? How was that? Where'd you go? Did you go to Maui? To the place that got burned down? Or no, you didn't go there? Do you surf? How did the kids love it? At the end of this whole thing, my job is to make you feel amazing. And for you, when you get back in your car, to feel like there's always something about Tristan. Every time I get together, I just feel more energized. And when you get into the car, I'm already texting, hey, great meeting you. Thanks for whatever it was, and get specific. And then I get back to the office or my home office. And you know what I'm doing? I'm writing one of these. Be like, hey, James, we've been thinking about going to Hawaii. Where would I go? Or maybe you said you're going somewhere. And I'm like, hey, James, I know you're going this way, this place. You should try this out. Boom. Now, 3-4 days later, they get that. And when you combine, the key to this is the combination. This is why it worked so well with us long term. The key to this is when you combine all of these together and you start growing and saying, well, I'm not just doing handwritten notes anymore. I'm doing send out cards. I'm not just doing that. I'm doing this and this because we're doing so well. And I'm building on top of this and I'm doing social media, calls, retargeting, online newsletter. I built a Facebook group. I do a podcast. And then you have this one-on-one coffee that now turned to the yearly events. And you know what? I also run a charity event. When you start combining all these things together, because you have so much momentum in business, it makes them feel like you're everywhere. And it makes them feel like they're part of it. And everyone wants to feel like they're part of something. Like they're part of something where people care about them. So if you're worried about this commission thing with the settlement, trust me, it is not going to hit the people you connect with at this level. It's just not. The world that you live in when you function like this and your business functions like this is a whole different world. It reminds me a lot of the world that luxury agents work in. You know why? Because when we help out these luxury clients, you know, their number one thing, they want to trust us to dump it all on us. They don't care what they're paying. They want to know that they have peace of mind. I don't want lawsuits later. I want to know that it's being taken care of. I already trust you, Tristan. I see the marketing that you do. And I already trust you because I see the value every time. It's the kindness. You're going to treat us great. We're not worried about that. Whatever it takes, because I'm going for quality. Think about this. As you go through this process, and this is part one. Part two, we're going to shift into other details. And by the end of tomorrow, you're going to have so much clarity as to what you're going to do. I try to bring some of that right now so that you have some clarity as your next steps. But part two, tomorrow, you're going to get a lot of clarity. And you'll be like, got it. I know what day I'm going to do this. In fact, I know what hour I'm going to do this, and I know what action I need to do. And we're going to go deeper. And we're going to slow down. And you're going to build relationships with your clients. You're going to build careers with your business. That's what this is about. What makes us different? People always ask, what makes you different? Is that I care about you. Because I'm in real estate. I'm a real estate agent. And I hate getting taken advantage of. I hate it so much that I said, I don't see it out there. I need to build something where I bring people together and help them based on what I'm experiencing and what those people that I'm coaching are experiencing. Because this real estate is a living thing. It changes weekly, in some cases daily. And we've got to pivot, and we've got to do this together. So I built this community, a brilliant tribe, to do that. And I want you in it. I want you to be part of this. And I want you to grow with us. And I made it affordable because it's part of a group setting. Now, if you did join today, or if you're already part of this, we're having a little meeting right after this. So jump in. It's like 20 minutes just to say hello, catch up, and then talk about our next moves, because tomorrow we're meeting again. I just want to know your feel, like, hey, how was it? Do you have any questions? Do you need clarity? And it's in a meeting room so we can all talk to each other. Because as cool as this is, I can't see you. And it bothers me because I can't see you. Because I'm always like, hey, yo, hey, how you doing? So do me a favor, Trenton, put in the link there. And if you've joined, if you just joined coaching, great, let us know. I'd love to bring you on. And then Monch, can you do me a favor? Can you put in the link to have everyone who's already part of coaching and those who joined so they can join us in there? It'll be about 20 minutes. And we've got about 2 minutes left for today. Tomorrow, I'll tell you exactly what I'm covering. Tomorrow, we're bringing in Trenton a little bit. We're covering some AI to show you the capabilities of how to put it into this thing that you're growing with your business for relationships. That's number one. We're going to talk about your database, how you should be reaching out. There's a lot of easy ways to reach out to your database. I gave you one example earlier on. Next, we're going to talk about some online leads and conversations in general. I've spent millions of dollars, unfortunately, to learn how to talk to people, to my database, to online leads better. And I'm going to break that down for you step by step to show you how to connect, right? Value. Next, we're going to go into some social media to show you exactly what to create, what's working. I'll show you on my Facebook. I'll show you on YouTube. We'll go into a little bit on that. We're going to go into building communities. And then the latter half of the day, we're going to go into the process. That means I want you to get clear as to where you want to go with your business, how much money you want to make, or what's driving you. What do you want to change? We're going to make that at the core action, and then we're going to break it down. And once you have those little pieces and where they fall, we're going to put those into a calendar for you. And then you're going to commit to making the effort to grow, the effort to change your business, because this is what it takes. It takes effort. Those people that make it through this year will be so far ahead of everyone else, because while everyone else is wondering, what do I do? You're already focused on what you should be focused on. How to make people feel amazing and how to attract business. All right, I'll see you in the other Zoom. Monch, can you put that one on here? Put it on so I can log into, and everyone else can log into that Zoom. That's the one. Is that the one? The right after the Q&A? Thank you. Let me see if I have that one. Perfect. All right, everyone. See you on the other one. I will answer questions there. We'll just talk for about 20 minutes. Well, let's have some fun. See you tomorrow.